Hey guys, welcome back. Kamina the Coach. Second video today because my hand is so shaky. Because I really wanted to give um, some perspective. So I haven't watched the Colin Kaepernick special, but as a biracial, transracial adoptee, I feel so let me back up. I'm Kamina the Coach. This channel was originally dedicated to helping teachers and other folks that wanted to leave the United States to go overseas to work. When COVID-19 forced me back into the United States, I rededicated the channel to my adoption journey and to other adoptees fighting this battle because being an adoptee is often a battle, whether adoptees are aware of it or not. There is a special kind of trauma that comes when you take a baby away from its mother at birth. So, transracially adopted means a child who is adopted by a parent who is not the same race as them. And while there are Black people and people of color that do adopt children outside of their race, it is not as common. And it is often not allowed. Why? The racism in the system. My friend is Black and wanted to adopt a white foster child, and they told her no, that he would be best suited in a white home. So why aren't Black children more suited for Black homes? Don't tell me it's because Black people aren't trying to adopt. And Black babies are cheaper to adopt. Isn't that something? There's a whole lot of facts that I could spit to you, but that's not that's not what this is about. This is purely based on my feeling about Colin Kaepernick and everything that's been going on. I don't pay attention a ton to media and such, so I actually didn't know his background until recently. But I always felt deeply connected to him in his stance. So I was actually born in Dallas, and I've always been a Dallas Cowboys fan. I used to love football. I used to watch basketball and football. And when Colin Kaepernick kneeled and Jerry Jones said he would fire anyone else who kneeled, I quit watching football. And no one really understood why, and they thought that I was quite being extreme. Same thing when Colin Kaepernick didn't go back to football, even when they offered. And, when he made such a big stand, people didn't understand it. And people often don't understand my intensity when it comes to race and racism. I have two very good transracially adopted friends who are both women of color as well, and also both feel very strongly about race, racism, colonialism, and how it colors and paints our perception. So I am in a group, being Black in Phoenix or something like that, and there was a big discussion about is people felt like they needed to go research Colin Kaepernick's life after they heard his story, because they couldn't believe that white people were actually behaving like that, or at least that's my understanding. If you haven't watched and you probably haven't, because I'm going to post this in some Black groups, if you haven't watched my backstory, the videos of my backstory. So I was adopted by two white people in Texas. I was born in Texas, and my birth mother, my first mother, my real mother, had an affair with my father, who was married, and she thought that he was going to rescue her, I guess. So she was Italian, full-blooded Italian, 20-something. Obviously, Dad wasn't going to leave his wife, and she took her behind home, and her dad was like, "You better get rid of that nigger baby." Those aren't her words, but I know it was something to that effect. So I was relinquished based on racism. Um, I was raised by two white people who um, didn't tell me I was adopted, number one, didn't tell me I was black. Number two, people like, couldn't you look in the mirror? But the thing is, if your parents told you the grass was purple, you would believe them. That's the reason why there are ignorant people in the world, because their parents have told them stuff that they believe. So I was ignorant for quite some time because I believed what my caretakers were telling me. So if that is not abuse in of itself, I don't know what is. Their son, their biological son, molested me, and they knew. Um, my adoptive father died. He didn't leave me anything at all. Um, I heard my adopted father call my adoptive mother a nigger lover in front of my face. Um, and I'm not saying the N word because I want you to feel the sting. My adoptive mother's grandmother used to refer to black people as niggers just in regular conversation. Yeah, the niggers used to come up and work on the fence. Like, not like, oh, those fucking niggers. No, just in regular conversation. I remember my adoptive father telling me one time why. I don't know why he felt the need. He was, I guess, justifying his racism to me. I grew up in a town where there was only one black family, and to the man of the house's face, we would affectionately call him Nigger Tom. Affectionately. Um, he had a fishing lure that was a little black boy naked inside of a red barrel. And you could pull the barrel down, and the little boy was naked underneath. Why? His mother had like Aunt Jemima type, like mammy cookie jars. I've been married twice. My both of them are black, beautiful black men. My second husband, much darker than my first, dark, beautiful skin. I took him to meet my adoptive father's parents, and I don't know what we were talking about, but she was like, she was talking about these cookie jars. She didn't know where they were, and she was about to say nigger mammy, and she caught herself mid nigger. And I looked at my husband, and he had to grab my hand really tightly to hold me together. There's so much more, God, I found out that I was half black because my adoptive white mother allowed me at 13 or 14 to see a man who was 26 or 27 years old. She ended up having an affair with him, and he asked her, I know she's not white. What is she? He's the first person who told me I was black because he was sleeping with my mom, my adopted mom. Isn't that something? I could give you a lot of anecdotes about other people that I have met in groups with people who have experienced very similar situations. But this video is all about me and my experience, and just letting those of you who dare to watch this know that it's not an exaggeration. We're not making it up. Number one, you just don't love an adopted child like you do your own. You don't bond with an adopted child the way that you do your own. And that just is what it is. Some people do have good adoption experiences, but they were still not loved the way that they would have been loved by their mother. There is a bonding that cannot take place because that baby has spent 9 months inside of their mother's womb. They know her smell, they know her heartbeat, they know the sound of her voice. Being born is traumatic, and then they come into the world and they're ready to meet this person, and they're taken away. So it's already traumatic being born, and then they come into this bright, loud, cold place, and they don't get to go to their home. Their mother is their home. So these babies often scream. If you talk to people who have adopted babies, they will often say that the baby just cried and cried and cried and screamed and cried. That's why mothers often end up rejecting adopted children, because they don't understand why these babies won't bond to them. It's because we're freaked out. Where is our mother? And no, we don't consciously remember that, but that is a scar that stays in our brain and our bodies for life if we don't attend to it. So, anyways, believe it or not, that's up to you. It's my story, and I'm corroborating his story. I don't know his story, but I know that our stories have to be very similar. All of our stories are relatively similar. No, we're not all like this. I get it. We're not all like this, but we all have experienced this trauma, whether we acknowledge it or not. Anyways, so I'm going to wrap it up there. I just wanted to talk about this briefly. My name is Colina the Coach. Until next time, sending you love, light, peace, and joy. Peace.